Today, we strongly condemn Salome Wanaina and Governor Wamatangi for attempting to extort foreign direct investors, international investors in Kenya, from New Zealand, the United States, the United Kingdom, and Norway.
It is therefore dishonest for Preston under the tutorship of a few politicians, and this we are clear about, because what Preston was doing yesterday is playing to the gallery and dancing to political tunes which he had been lured into, thinking that they could coerce us by threatening that they are going to scandalize us.
Do you feel that you always have to prepare your pockets for something that you need to give on the side so that you can be able to develop or invest in something? These things that they are being told to provide to the governor, including that particular land for the residents of Kimani Wamatangi, that is illegal, and they have made it really hard for them to continue and finalize on their projects simply because they are getting a hard time from the county government of Kiambu. Governor Wamatangi has pulled the race card, and he says these white people, quote unquote, they think they can just come here and do this and that. And no one will force him to say, like, to demand less from Tatu City in what they are required to do. So guys, the president just dissolved the cabinet today, and I really want to hear your thoughts about it because now there's always these mixed reactions, and some people are actually saying he's doing exactly what he said he would do, and also there are those who think it's not enough. But as always, that's why we are a democratic country, because we get to have opinions. So what exactly are your thoughts on that? But that's not why we are doing this video today. I want us to watch a video like we always do together so that we can be able to identify whether Governor Wamatangi is an extortionist or the people at Tatu City are just pulling a card to make the governor scared. So as always, let's watch these two videos together.
But today, I would like to say that unfortunately that success of Tatu City has attracted opportunistic politicians in Kenya. Today, we are blowing the whistle. We are blowing the whistle on extortion, an extortion attempt by the governor of Kiambu County, it's Governor Kimani Wamatangi, and his aide, Salome Wanaina, who is the CEC member for Lands, Housing, Physical Planning, Municipal Administration, and Urban Development. Today, we strongly condemn Salome Wanaina and Governor Wamatangi for attempting to extort foreign direct investors, international investors in Kenya, from New Zealand, the United States, the United Kingdom, and Norway. These individuals here have held up for more than a year and a half the approval of Tatu City's new master plan. All the while, they try to seize 40 acres of land from Tatu City, including land for Governor Wamatangi's residence. The value of the land they are trying to take from Tatu City is 4.3 billion shillings. That's about 33 million US dollars. United Kingdom, United States, and Norway. Tatu City is a pioneering special economic zone in Kenya.
Okay.
It has created more than 20,000. All the while, they try to seize 40 acres of land from Tatu City, including land for Governor Wamatangi's residence. The value of the land they are trying to take from Tatu City is 4.3 billion shillings. That's about 33 million US dollars.
All right, so hold up. As you can see, the people at Tatu City, they've decided, you know what, enough is enough. We are going to expose these people. And did you see, by the way, the boldness it took? They even had them. They had them on posters. Those posters or billboards or whatever it is, when they went and just revealed the faces. It's like we actually have an announcement, and this is what we are telling you about the governor of Kiambu and his advisors, and what they are claiming in a nutshell. And you guys can watch the extensive videos. I'll be pinning the link on the comment section. They are saying the governor, what they wanted are 40 acres of land that will amount to 4.3 billion shillings. And also in that particular, what they also want land for Wamatangi's residents. So in short, Wamatangi anataka kwenda kuishi huko na lazima wakuwe na shamba yake tayari. But before we get to what Wamatangi had to say, I love that he replied to this, so which means now we actually have the two sides of stories. So let me also read for you this memo that Tatu City, the Tatu City sent out there, and this was a letter they received from the Office of the County Executive, County Government of Kiambu. This was actually sent to the management at Tatu City on 16th April 2024, and it says, pending issues, refer to the above subject matter following our previous meeting held on 9th December 2024, concerning the review of Tatu City Local Physical Development Plan. I wish to highlight the following pending items for our discussion and way forward in our next meeting. Number one, identification and allocation of the 2 acres for Governor's House on Zone 54. Let's put a mark on subject 1 because we are coming back to that. 2, setting aside 10 acres for social housing to cater for the casual laborers. And 3, surrender the following public purpose uses to the county governor free of cost. So they have there the things that they are demanding, and it's also stamped and it's also signed by Salome Wainaina, who is the county executive committee member, land, housing, physical planning, municipal administration, and urban development. That memo right there is showing on your screen. But let's just go back to item number 1, identification and allocation of the 2 acres for Governor's House on Zone 54. So that shows right there that, among other things that the management of Tatu City are supposed to do or are being reminded of, is that allocation of the 2 acres for Governor's House on Zone 54. So one might be asking, why did Tatu City do a whole press conference or a press release for this? It's because they feel that what Kimani Wamatangi and his team have done, they've costed this country 16 billion in losses just by them kuzuba, not like kuzuba, kukawia kupatiana iyo permission. And he's saying these things that they are being told to provide to the governor, including that particular land for the residents ya Kimani Wamatangi, that is illegal. And they have made it really hard for them to continue and finalize on their projects simply because they are getting a hard time from the county government of Kiambu. And also he says that it's also making it hard for foreign investors to be able to do things normally if such delays are what we expect. So because again, Kimani Wamatangi called a presser. He did a whole press conference on this, and we are about to listen to what he had to say because he objected to everything that Tatu City are saying, and we'll get to listen to some few things that he got to say in a second. Allow me to ask you right now, even if you are an investor or even if you are watching this as a foreign investor or just an investor here in Kenya, how easy or hard is it for you to be able to do business in Kenya? And do you feel that you have got to bribe someone, you have got to give someone? You remember that Eric Wenena song, Inchi ya kitu kidogo? Do you feel that you always have to prepare your pockets for something that you need to give on the side so that you can be able to develop or invest in something? And also, if you're watching this as a foreign investor, how easy again or hard is it to conduct business here in Kenya? And must you always, lazima uone mtu kando, must you see someone kando so that you can be able to prosper or you can be able to develop whatever you want to develop? But Governor Wamatangi has pulled the race card and he says these white people, quote unquote, they think they can just come here and do this and that. And I want us to listen to his exact statement. And he says he will not be, no one will force him to say, like, to demand less from Tatu City in what they are required to do. So he's not going to be forced by someone to feel some type of way. And he says the only reason Tatu City have gone and had a whole press about this, it's because of their own selfish reasons. And he says whatever they've said, that's not what there is. And now let's listen to what he says are the actual facts in regarding to this scandal that has everyone talking in the country.
406 acres of land had been reserved for public amenities, which the Tatu City management have now downscaled to 103 acres, according to Preston. For land of approximately 5,000 acres, the expected land to be surrendered for public use ought to be about 10%, which translates to about 500 acres, including 10 acres for social housing to accommodate low-cadre workers within the industrial park, and the residential areas such as those in the industries, for housekeepers, cleaners, security personnel and their families. We also requested 44 acres for a stadium, community center, social hall, hospital and administration offices. 2 acres for the construction of the governor's official residence. In accordance with the law and the Salaries and Remuneration Commission, SRC guidelines, for the avoidance of doubt, this will be a public facility registered in the name of the county government and not in the governor's name. It is therefore dishonest for Preston under the tutorship of a few politicians, and this we are clear about, because what Preston was doing yesterday is playing to the gallery and dancing to political tunes which he had been lured into, thinking that they could coerce us by threatening that they are going to scandalize us, that we would give in. So it is therefore dishonest that Preston, under the tutorship of a few politicians of ill will, chose to mislead the public with defamatory and offensive statements against the county government and its leadership during the press conference yesterday. That most people have had of late, and especially because of selfishness, that when you have the wherewithal and the blessings of having those huge chunks of land, if you are told that you require to surrender part of that land to make availment for those that will be serving you and your people, it sounds like a tall order. And that is why you find even with other lesser investors, same thing we are struggling even with other smaller investors who want to subdivide 10, 20 acres and build missionaries. When you tell them that you have to surrender a little bit of that land so that it can be a playground for the children who are going to be born in these houses you are selling and building, it still becomes an argument.
All right, so I guess you've watched both parties. You have Governor Wamatangi there and his team obvious behind him, and he says such issues are not something he would call a press conference for. But since Tatu City decided to do a presser, even he feels the need to answer that through a presser. And as you can see, he has pretty much denied all those allegations. But let's just go back to that alleged letter that is said to have been shared by the guys at Tatu City that came from the office of the county executive. And you can, I don't know now if this is, I don't know if this is an error or this is just people not being keen on their job, if at all this was what was sent. But I think if you can check right at the first paragraph, there is that part says, following our previous meeting held on 9th December 2024. I believe we all know what's wrong with that statement. Hatujafika, I know we all want to get to December, but hatujafika December of 2024. So again, I don't know, it's just government offices and typing errors or what you think of it, but we would also want to seek clarification on that letter that is said to have been shared by the Tatu management in regards to what the county government, the county governor's office had sent them. But let me take a look at some of your reactions, because if there's one thing Tatu City made clear when they did that presser, it's the fact that not only are these expectations unrealistic, but they're also going to cost youths a lot of jobs. And I believe that's what the president has been talking about, making sure that there are employment spaces or slots for especially Gen Zs. And now you have a foreign investment here telling you that if this had been done correctly, we would have our youths in jobs here and there. And the more we stall, the more we lack those jobs. But also, what did you guys think about Governor Wamatangi's race card? He did pull that white race card. And I really want you guys to tell me whether you think that it's time we as Africans stopped depending on white people to come and do or develop or just have, you know, these just run investments in our country, or do you think that was actually a low blow? But let me take a look at some of your reaction. As I've said, a lot of people have really been frustrated by this accusation from the Tatu City management, and a lot of people are also weighing in on this matter. Let me see what Chris said on X. Eyes on Kiambu County, Bwana Senator. It's time that rot in the governance system was dealt with. Wamatangi and team have frustrated the masses since he took office, more so in sectors such as lands, housing and urban development, physical planning, hence the Tatu City frustration. Kabea said, if Governor Wamatangi sleeps at home tonight, then the anti-corruption bodies responsible to hold account corrupt individuals have failed. Let's take a look at that statement. If he sleeps at home tonight, the corruption bodies responsible to hold account corrupt individuals have failed. Do you have faith in our anti-corruption bodies? Do you think that they perform? If anything, do you actually think if someone has been accused of extortion, has been accused of corruption, that this is the perfect time for people to, the EACC body, to start investigating Wamatangi? Let's see what else people have to say. Someone says here, I'm not saying that Wamatangi isn't corrupt, but the law says investors should give 10% of their land to build public institutions. Yes, that is the law, and we must adhere to the law. But then again, even as Tatu City gives, because Wamatangi's issue is that he's been telling these people to do these things for a long time, lakini they are the ones who are stolen. But we did not hear anyone address the issue of the governor's residence. Someone asked me to ask, kwani the governor is homeless, and why does he need a residence, or why does he need to build inside Tatu City? So Tatu management obeys the law. Let's say they obey the whole 10% law of to build, you know, for public institution, to give out that land for public institutions. But then again, why should they give out land? And these are things Tatu management, the person who even did the presser said. He said that the governor want a piece of land dedicated to his residence, and also the governor, as you've heard, has refuted those claims. Let me read a very interesting one here lastly, and you guys can also be sharing on the comment section what you think. Vinny said, this is very embarrassing. Wamatangi should be kicked out and get jailed. Do you think you have faith? Assuming Wamatangi actually did these things, do you guys see a time where our public servants or corrupt individuals will ever pay a heavy price for their actions? Taflo said, greed is the worst thing that can afflict a country. It's worse than any disaster you can fathom. Look at Congo. That's the face of greed. Wamatangi and accomplices must be stopped. All right, so guys, I don't know what you think, but do you think now this is the new era we are entering into? Of course, since people started with the whole reject finance bill, since people added their voice to that whole chaos, a lot lot of changes are taking place. Do you think the next step right now would be for foreign investors to come out and shame these public servants who are making it hard for them to be able to invest in our country? And as I asked, if you are an investor, especially if you are a foreign investor, how hard or easy is it to invest in Kenya? And to the public, I ask you, especially after that race card, do you think we need white people? Do we need investors to come and help develop our countries, or can we just do it by ourselves? As always, I love hearing your feedback on the same. Most importantly, on do you think this is the new step now for Kenya to be able to shame? Ukienda pale Nyayo House hakuna passport, unachukua namba huyo mtu anakuitisha kitu kidogo, unamweka kwa social media. If you go to the office and you're asked for this and this, do you take a photo and also post it on social media? And do you think what Tatu City has done is fair? And do you think Wamatangi is also fair to say that they did that simply because they knew it would put unnecessary pressure to the county government? Your feedback is very much appreciated. So let me know what you think on the comment section. And do you think this is now the next way forward, shaming these public servants, especially corrupt public servants? All right. Bye-bye.